what up though? What's going down, y'all? This your boy Rob G, aka Roberto Galli. We're back once again. We's on the road right now, so we always try to take the time to sit down and talk to y'all out there, reach out to the fans, reach out to the public. And this is another segment of Talk to 'em Tuesdays. The topic of the day today is going to be my opinion as well as y'all's opinion, because this ain't just about what I think about the state of hip hop now. You know where it's going. As me being somebody that's kind of been in the game now professionally for over 10 years, you know, doing my thing, been a fan of music, kind of get to see the different, you know, progressions of rap and hip hop and kind of where it's going. Just gonna give my 2 cents on how I see things, what I'm checking for, where it's going. Then I also want to know kind of what y'all think, you know. So say we go ahead and get started. You know, first of all, when you look back at the history of hip hop from when it first started, it was more based around the dominant cities, the dominant big cities. You know, obviously you had the birthplace of it with New York, and you know, you had the West Coast, obviously, and for a long time it was kind of dominated by those two sides, you know. And then you had the emergence of the South, obviously, with cities like Atlanta, Houston, things of that nature. You know, you had the Florida movement, different things like that. Obviously you had guys coming out of Chicago. Well, one of the biggest differences that I see now is that you starting to really have guys blossom from everywhere now. You know, even some guys overseas, you know, like a Tiny Temper or whatever, you know, a guy like that, you know, who kind of crossed over here doing his form of hip hop from out there. Here in the States, obviously, there's movements coming out of, I mean, you got the whole resurgence of the West Coast right now with all those guys like YG. I mean, they got a long list of guys out there right now. It's pretty evident that, you know, as far as movement-wise, you know, the West Coast kind of got it right now. They're doing their thing. They got a lot of young stars coming up out of there that are doing big things, that they're getting kind of co-signed by the ambassadors from out that way too. So, you know, they got guys from there. You got the Chicago movement going on now. You got tons of different camps coming from out there. Different cats, you know, they Chirac stuff. You know what I mean? So you got that whole movement from there. Guys from North Carolina, even up Toronto, you know, I mean, Mississippi, Alabama. You got people coming from all over in different states, you know what I mean, Minnesota. So that's one of the biggest differences now, and I guess that you got to attribute that to obviously the whole availability of online stuff now, you know, and the way that people are able to kind of put their music out there and kind of share it with folks. So I say that's one of the biggest differences now, is that now with the different social medias and the internet and everything, that you're able to discover talent from all kinds of different places and discover different swags, different rhyme styles, different influences. You might see, like, you know, the Pittsburgh, you know, Pittsburgh, when you look at Wiz and his camp, they kind of got that whole kind of Cali swag going down. You kind of see where the different influences come from, you know. But at the same time, you got like Meek Mills and them that is up there in Philly, and obviously they more, you know, kind of lyric based and stuff like that with a natural kind of hip hop tone to them. So it's a really cool thing. I think as an artist and a fan, you kind of get exposed to the different things that's going on. It just help you grow in different ways, you know what I mean? One of the other biggest differences that I see right now in hip hop as opposed to what there was in the past is just the different lanes that have been created. You know, when I was a youngster, you know, you would maybe go to the store and you buy a CD. You know, when CDs was the main form of purchasing and listening to music, that's what you did. You would go to the store and you would buy a CD. Therefore, you would listen to that CD constantly. That would be your music, you know, for the time, to the point where you memorize every song, every filler, you know, everything like that. Just that setup alone, I don't know if people understand that, but like subconsciously alone, that would allow you to buy more into an artist, because when you're jamming that CD over and over and over, you're constantly listening to their ideals, you know, and if it's something you like, that's why you're jamming it over and over and over. You get used to an artist's ideals, their way of thinking, what they do, you might identify with it, so therefore you become one of those true fans, you know, to where it's beyond music, you identify with them as a person, you know what I mean? So now with the availability of music, with just from YouTube, all the streaming stuff, you know, the whole internet game and how that came in, to just the advancement of cell phones, you know, to where now you don't even need a computer to accomplish all the things that you would on a computer. You just got your little smartphone, you know, you can get one at Cricket for $50 or something, you know. So, I mean, just with the way that music is available now, it's like, it's allowed you to kind of grasp many different artists and concepts all at once and become a fan of different forms of music, you know what I mean, of different forms of hip-hop, because it's about hip-hop right now. And with that being said, I guess it has opened up lanes, you know what I mean. Before, if for those of y'all out there listening that may have noticed, you know, hip-hop, if you kind of study the history, it's always kind of went in cycles, you know what I mean, where you had more of the dance hip-hop, and then it might fade over to more of the street stuff. You might have more of the conscious element come into play. You got the swag kind of, you'll have a time period where it's more dominated by the youth and the swag and all that fly stuff, and then you might have a time period when it was dominated by the streets, and you know. So now, instead of it going in cycles, it's just like, you know, there's a bunch of different open lanes, and you know, they kind of each dominate in their own way, form of fashion. It's allowed artists to be true to themselves, I believe, because I think once everybody figured it out and got over the whole part of, you know, the whole confusion of internet and music at first, that it kind of allowed people to find their lane, find their avenue, with all the different ways of just exposing yourself now and creating a revenue for yourself as an artist, and being able to all do it by yourself. Pretty much allowed artists to stay true to them and to their artwork and what they do, you know what I mean? They basically say, forget it, you know what I mean, I'm not gonna adapt to the game, I'm gonna keep doing what I do and just be cool with my fan base and keep attracting more fans and stuff like that, you know. So, and then on the other side of that, you know, you also have the artists who are able to do more than one thing, you know, that you can play on different sides of the fence, similar to what we trying to do even now, more so, you know. I never forget a while back, and I use this example a lot, I was just up early one time and I was just watching random videos on one of them MTV channels, and I think it was 2 Chainz and Nicki Minaj, the I Bees in the Trap joint came on, and then 2 songs later they had the other Nicki Minaj joint where, man, it's on the tip of my tongue right now, but very pop, European, you know, one of them dance tracks. I think it might have been one of the ones when she was like in Brazil popping and doing a thing, you know. But yeah, okay, now follow with that. Same thing, the Chris Brown and Busta Rhymes joint come on, you know what I mean? Chris Brown, Busta Rhymes joint come on, and I'm like, yeah, you know, that's a street record, rap record, American rap record. Then after that, the Chris Brown video, about 3 videos later, the Beautiful People video comes on. You know, he riding around on a scooter with glow sticks in his mouth. So, you know, that right there, I had always kind of envisioned it like that, but when that moment happened, I kind of stopped and I was like, see, now, again, you know, artists don't have to stay in their lane. They're able to play in different lanes, different genres, get different fan bases, you know what I mean, and able to cater to them, you know, without necessarily crossing over and interfering with who they are as a brand, you know. So it's almost like you're able to, if you do it right, you're able to individually brand yourself in the different genres of music that now exist. And when you can tie it together, because again, with the availability and speed that music's coming out and things are changing, now you have people that are, you know, somebody who's a big fan of street rap is also a fan of dance, you know, electro pop stuff, you know, in the club or whatever, you know what I mean? And it just depends the mood they're in at that time of day and at that moment. Yeah, man, I also feel like that allows artists too to kind of just be themselves and you know, experiment with different kinds of music. So I'm personally, in that sense, as far as being a hip hop artist as well, I'm excited about that. That excites me. You know what I mean? Being a true artist, I feel like I can thrive in an environment like that. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that I see different in rap right now. Man, as far as where I see hip hop going right now, I'm actually really excited about it. As far as like the talent that's out there, there's a lot of like things about hip hop that I really bought into before that I kind of see coming back. You know, there was a moment, obviously everybody knows, where it was the whole, oh, hip hop's dead thing and it's done, the art form is gone and all this crap, and everybody was worried about the business side of it and would it be able to recover through this whole internet stage and all that stuff. I'm excited where it's going right now. Let's talk about some of the new guys that are out, because there's a lot of artists out there right now that I'm digging. Not necessarily, you know, it may not be like, you know, for different reasons, like whether it's you're admiring their hustle or you're admiring their talent, but I do see a lot of the new guys that are coming out, and some of them are just new to y'all, you know what I mean? They've been doing their thing for a long time, they just happen to be new to you now. But there's a whole lot of new guys out there. I mean, when you look at the West Coast, you got like YG and that whole movement out there. You got cats like, you know, I mean, just all over the place. I mean, when I'm into the satellite radio a lot, you know, which is another great avenue, you know what I mean? And you hearing, one of the things I noticed is that like a lot of the new cats on the East Coast and in New York, they're still keeping alive that whole that whole street presence and that whole hip hop feel with their stuff, you know what I mean? And then back to the West Coast stuff, I mean, you hear like the song like I'm Out Here, and you hear like the stuff that Mustard's doing and all those guys out there, and they're actually bringing back like some of that elements like West Coast funk and stuff. So you see a lot of these new guys kind of paying homage and bringing back some of the stuff that started the whole game. So I appreciate that. Again, going back to like different people, I mean, you got like K-Camp out there, Migos, who else? Of course, down in H-Town, you got, you know, Rich Homie, the boy Propane. I mean, there's just so many guys out there that are doing their thing right now, you know what I mean? And guys like Kendrick that really just kind of set the bar up, you know what I mean, as far as, you know, kind of bringing their own swag and their own lyrical essence to the game. And I mean, just a lot. I'm a big fan of like Meek Mills. I'm a big fan of Big Crit, the homie Q. I mean, I'm you know, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that I feel it's like people are bringing their own style, their own flavor to the game now. We've recently had guys like, you know, the Futures, and even taking it back about 5 years, like when Drake came and Nicki and that whole movement, you know what I mean? You just got a lot of dudes doing their thing and playing their lanes. I'm a huge fan of Slaughterhouse. I like them a lot. I like their whole movement. I love basically what Eminem is doing with like Shady 4-5 and all that, you know, just providing an outlet for all those guys to, you know, different artists to come out and shine, you know. And in a sense, I almost feel like a lot of these new cats are also inspiring like the older living legends that we got, and it's almost like they like, hold up. Y'all ain't finna come up in here and just, you know, stick your chest out like that. So you see the reemergence of some of the guys that's been holding it down for the last decade, and not only are they coming, you know, fiercely again with new music, but they're bringing camps behind them. Like you see what Wayne did with the whole Young Money camp, you know, Kanye followed with his people, with 2 Chainz, Pusha T, and, you know, just that whole Big Sean and just all those guys he got. I mean, you're just starting to see a lot of that now, you know what I mean? And I think that's dope. You know, you see like the G Unit coming back together, you know, stuff like that. I just heard like new music from like the Locks and stuff. So, I mean, that personally excites me because I come from that era, that time, you know. It's like people made a big deal out of the anniversary of Illmatic, you know, things like that. So, I mean, there seems to be like a competitive level, but there also seems to be like a nice camaraderie going down. You got cats getting down from all over the place now, you know, north, south, east, west. I mean, down here, like in Houston, it's beautiful. You know, the new cats from H-Town, Kirko, all them cats, they like, you know, they representing our brand and the things that the legends really set up for us, you know what I mean? So I really like where hip hop's going in that sense. I feel like it's getting competitive again. I feel like, you know, you got a guy like Kendrick who dropped that one verse and just everybody go crazy, you know what I mean? And they, hold up, you know, and you love to see that, you know, you love to see that, because at the end of the day, that's where the art comes from. That's where, you know, that's what it is, man. That's when rap was at its best, you know. But minus the shooting each other up and shit, you know. Obviously, I'm glad that ain't around. But yeah, man, I really like the direction hip hop's going. I mean, it's obviously became a monster on itself. There's a flip side to it as far as being an artist. You know, it's great for fans. Obviously, it's great for fans. They can get what they want. They can listen to who they want. They can find new people all the time. Now, on the flip point of it for us as artists, there's a lot of challenges out there. You know, there's just so much brand new stuff coming out all the time. I mean, all the time, every day. Like, I mean, there's just a new artist and a new music and a new producer and a new DJ and a new crew. Like, it seems like every day. So how do you filter through that? You know, how do you get past that? You know, is it just sitting in front of a computer all day? What is it? You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's necessarily a formula that's been figured out, but I know that that's one of the challenges that's presented. You know, so as an artist, I feel like you just gotta really kind of think outside the box, not only with your music, but definitely with the way that you market yourself. And I feel like the bigger brands and the bigger companies are kind of seeing it the same way. I saw like 50 Cent with this new campaign he doing. You know, he was dropping like a single every single week. You know, you still got like the bigger artists still doing mixtape joints and remixes and different things of that nature, signing labels, you know, building artists. So there's just so many different things that you got to do. And yeah, so I just see that as one of the challenges. Now, my personal opinion is, you know, you ain't gonna win by doing what somebody else do. You know what I mean? I think you gotta try to be yourself. You gotta try to be your own man and just believe in what you're doing and kind of stick to it and give it time and give it patience to kind of, you know, just take off and do what it do. You know what I mean? I mean, I love it, man. You got Chicago, LA, NYC, Florida, Texas. I mean, everywhere, man. Everybody doing something. Everybody wants to be involved in the game. It's definitely global, international, and competition's there. The music's there. I'm excited about it. You know what I mean? And I just hope that you know, us Latinos find our little lane and do what we do, and just keep it going. So my question to the people out there is, what is your opinion on the state of hip-hop? Who are some of the artists that you think are hot? Who are some of the producers that you think are hot? Who are maybe some people that I might have left out? And no offense to any names or anybody that I left out, because there's tons of people out there that I respect and who are doing their thing and who kind of, you know, motivate me to even, you know, just be on my pen and pad even harder. But yeah, to the people out there paying attention, how do you feel? Do you think, what's the negative sides of the game or where it's going right now? How do you feel, you know, about what it was back in the day as to compared to what it is now? And, you know, let us know who you think's hot and who's not, all right? And this is Talk to 'em Tuesdays. Again, the topic is hip-hop. Look down below in the description if you want to know how to get at me and see some more episodes of this. Don't forget to check out Freestyle Fridays, which we're about to record right now after this, actually, a real quick one before we get on the road. And again, thanks for taking the time to check us out. Talk to 'em Tuesdays. What you feel about hip-hop? Holla.